Oh, good afternoon. Today is December the 14th, I believe it is. Yeah, it's a really nice day here in Pennsylvania. It's maybe a little chilly, but the sun's out and the air died down, and it's just a beautiful day out here. It's really dry, the air is dry, the sky's clear. But yeah, we didn't have a whole lot on to go the last couple days, which is kind of nice. Tomorrow we're planning to burn a bunch of big brush piles. We're gonna try to get some video of that. It's where we'd cleared out some trees here last year, and yeah, so we'll try to get some video of that. We're wanting to get them brush piles burned and get the stumps out of there, and there's some rocks in there as well. Get that all cleared out and hopefully be able to farm it next year. The field is about 13 acres. We're hoping to gain at least 10 of it to farm this year possibly, and we'll see once how we make out there, how much time it takes to clean it up. But so yeah, we're here where we live in PA. You never know how the winters are gonna be. We've been having really mild winters the last couple years, but it can get cold and snowy and get a lot of snow on the ground, and there can be times where you get several weeks where you can't do much on projects like that. So we'll try to get it started. Won't get into it a whole lot probably till after the first of the year with Christmas and New Year, but we at least want to get these brush piles all burned up while everything's good and dry. So yeah, I need to go back here and check my springers and bed a couple pens up, get some hay bales around. And our springer pen is really full right now. I think I counted 26 in here. There's one cow that had injured her hip. I'm not sure how that happened. We didn't see anything that happened. We just found her limping really bad, and so we have her in here. I'm not sure what's going to come of her yet. She can still get up and walk around, but yeah, she's really favoring that hip. I don't seem like anything's broken. I'm not quite sure if her hip's out of joint or what happened there, but yeah, that's part of farming though. When you have cattle, you're going to have problems somewhere along the way. The amount of springers we have, that means we're going to have a lot of calves in the next 2 weeks. There's quite a few of them that are really close. There's 6 or 8 here will probably be fresh in the next 2 or 3 days. But yeah, we got several linebacks in here. There's a really nice red lineback that's springing with her second calf. There's more of a all white. Well, there's a black and white Holstein there. Let me see, she's coming with her third calf. There's a mostly white lineback. She's just a first calf heifer springing up. Yeah, probably, I don't know if a third of them in here are linebacks or not. There's a red and white Holstein. She's just coming in with her second calf. There's another lineback. She's a little bit of an older cow. She's probably fourth calf, I think, so she's not real old, but yeah, she's definitely getting a little age. Another lineback just coming in with her second calf, springing with her second calf. There's a Holstein. Yeah, she'll probably have a calf within the next day, if not today yet. She's kind of wandering around acting a little bit funny like they do right before they calve. There's another really nice red and white Holstein coming with her second calf. The Jersey Cross, that red one there, coming with her second calf. Here's another really nice red and white lineback. She's springing with her first calf. Yeah. I've said different times about the linebacks. Yeah, one of these videos I'd really like to do something more just all about linebacks, but yeah, the breeding on them has came a long ways over the years. We've got our first lineback. It's probably 30 or 31 years ago now, the spring before my wife and I got married, and at a sale, kind of just bought it for the uniqueness. She milked well. She wasn't anything special to look at, but she did milk well. It wasn't like she didn't milk, but yeah, now they've came a long ways. They, as far as the breeding on them, and Holstein. You cross Holstein into them, so I guess they're not pure lineback, even though they do have the pure marking, or the lineback marking. So, yep. Here's a black one over here. She's a really good cow. She's mostly black though. See if I can get her to turn around. She's gonna pop any minute too. Both of these right here are just ready to. I was actually surprised they weren't fresh here in the last day or two, but that one there with an all black face is a lineback. She's a really good cow. She's coming in with her 5th or 6th calf and has held up relatively well. In the winter, when it gets colder out, we put calf coats on our youngest calves. It's kind of, they drape over their back and they have a Velcro under their neck. And then there's 2 straps that go around their back legs that hold them on. And yeah, we put them on until they're probably maybe 3-4 weeks old at the oldest, depending on how cold it is. The first 2 weeks is probably the most critical. We don't have any heated area for our young calves, and when it gets really cold, it just helps keep them feeling better and growing better. And yeah, we like I said, we'll put them on when they're first born and or soon after they're born, and keep them on for approximately, probably on a good average, 3 weeks. Yeah, don't hinder their movement, and don't hinder them getting up and down, but and helps keep them feeling good. Soon after I had videoed, within a half an hour, I seen her laying down, and yeah, she was definitely in labor. And it wasn't too long until I seen the feet sticking out, and yeah, it was about 2 hours later. She still hadn't had it, and it wasn't real big. Sometimes when they're like that, they're a little bigger. And yeah, she didn't have much trouble, but she had a little black and white heifer calf. So yep, everybody's alive and healthy, and the mom's licking it off and going, yeah, really taking to it. So it's what we like to see. It's kind of a natural instinct for them to want to lick their calf off like that, but every now and then you have one, especially first calf heifers, they can be a little more slower to take off to them. Most of the times the cow, that's like from the time they have their second calf on, they'll take right to their calf. But sometimes the heifer, when they have their first calf, they'll be a little bit indecisive about it. But yeah, anyway, it's part of farming. New birth, not quite every day, but almost every day. It's always good to see the mom really like to go after it. Might mention, different times we talk about springers, and I'm sure most of you probably know this, but whenever the cow, I've said before, a cow is dry approximately 2 months, you quit milking them and dry them off. We put them over in a different barn about 2 months before they're going to have a calf. And then about 2 to 3 weeks before they have their calf, they'll start, whenever you dry them off, their udder just dries up to a little bit of nothing. There's no milk in it, and it's all dried up. But about 2 or 3 weeks before they have a calf, they'll start getting swelling in their udder, start getting some, so their udder will start, we call it springing up. That's where the term they get the springer. It's soon be like 2 to 3 weeks before they have a calf. And that's about that times when we move them into our springer pen or pre-calving pen. And yeah, sometimes that cow has more swelling in her udder than some, and I don't know what makes the difference, but sometimes you get some that swell up worse than others. There will be some you'll think, well, she's not going to calve for another week or so, and next thing you know, she lays down and has a calf. And then there's one you think, well, she probably is going to calve today or tomorrow, and she'll wait 3 to 5 days sometimes. I have no idea what makes the difference, but that's, yeah, kind of the way it's always been. But this one here was one that definitely has a little bit more swelling, but she looks like a cow that should really milk if everything goes well. Say this yet, we'll give it about 2 hours here, and then I'll come back out. We just finished up the afternoon milking, and yeah, we'll head in and eat some supper. probably come back out in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and check it, make sure everything's still okay, and then I'll give the calf a couple different things. We give them the different tubes of calf gel that's kind of vaccination against scours, and dip its navel. And so yeah, we give them 2 different kinds of gel and then dip their navels. So maybe I'll show a little bit of that if I can. I mentioned about that cow kind of fretting around and not having her calf. Yeah, a lot of times, and it's kind of weird too, when they're having a calf, some of them you'll see them barely acting like anything, or not even really showing anything, like any feet sticking out or anything coming yet. And you come back a half an hour, 45 minutes later, and they done laid down, had the calf, and they're up licking it off. And next time you check them an hour, you'll see some feet sticking out. You check them an hour later, and they're still not progressed a whole lot more than that. And usually if it's an hour or two, you kind of learn what to watch for. And usually if it's an hour or an hour and a half, and if it's just the feet sticking out, you kind of wait a little longer to give them a little more chance to start trying to have it more on their own. But yeah, it's kind of a fine line there. You kind of learn what to watch for of when you need to pull them, or if they've been showing the feet like that for a good 2 hours or more and ain't really progressing, it's good to get them and check them out. And yeah, a lot of times when they're not progressing, the calf can be a little bigger, or they're having a little trouble. But in her case, yeah, she was just kind of fretting around. Well, I noticed different times she was just getting up and moving and laying down at a different spot and just kind of wandering around, and so I don't know what her deal was. But anyway, everything's fine. Calf's born and healthy and seems to be, yeah, started breathing right away and didn't really seem to appear to have any stress or any problems, so that's all good. This is about 2 hours after it was born, approximately, and yeah, the calf's standing there and all licked off. And yeah, I'll go ahead and give it the stuff, the tubes of gel that we give the newborn calves. Yeah, I think I might have shared this one other time a little bit, but just thought I would do the whole thing connected here with this calf being born. But we give our calves 2 different kinds of gel. The one is called Tri-Shield. It has 3 different strands in for 3 different kinds of scours. The other one is an optimizer gel. And the Tri-Shield, you give them the whole tube. The optimizer gel, they only need 10 milliliters of it, so, or 10 cc's. Yeah, and then we also dip their navels. We just use a dip cup that you would use to dip cows. Some guys will spray them, but yeah, this one here is it's kind of lays over, so it works out pretty slick for dipping their navels. And usually you, yeah, the dip cup's made that you squeeze the bottle and it fills more in there in that little cup, and yeah, you just dip it up on their navel and gets really good coverage that way. And yeah, you don't need to worry about whether you got it covered or whether you missed part of it. It usually covers the whole thing. If I can get it dipping there. Yeah, you usually just kind of slop it up on there and make sure you got it all covered good. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get this very good, but the gels, we just stick the tube back in the throat, not clear, but back toward the back of the mouth, and just squeeze it all in. There's kind of a probably didn't get very good coverage of that, but cattle have just like a little bit of a ridge in their tongue, kind of right about the middle of the tongue, and if you can get stuff behind that ridge, yeah, they'll swallow it. If you don't get it behind that ridge, they'll often work it back out of their mouth. But yeah, if you can get it behind that ridge, they don't have much of a choice but to swallow it. Yeah, it's amazing how these cows like Whey. This is our dry cows and bred heifers. Just got done scraping up over here. scrape every morning to their freestall barn and their barnyard out here. And then we always fill their whey trough up, and you get done scraping up and open this valve up. Before you even get off the tractor that we scrape with, they're starting to come because they know you're going to open the valve, and they come pretty much not quite running, but almost. Yeah. They just filled the tank yesterday. They fill this tank twice a week. They drink pretty close to 10 gallons per cow per day over here, because the tank holds, it's an old cheese vat, it holds about 1,000 gallons, and there was usually around 100, a little over 100 head over here, and they drink it all in a day. So yeah, I'll say this, with the salt that's in the whey, they it don't freeze quite as quick. It'll get like slushy a little bit, but it will freeze, or your valve, it'll freeze enough that your valve sticks, and yeah, it'll get like almost like a frozen icy in the tank then whenever it gets cold enough, say like below 15, or yeah. But if we keep that heat tape on the valve, we can keep it open probably till it gets down to about, I'm gonna say, if it gets down below 10 degrees at night, yeah, it'll freeze up even then. But probably, I'm gonna say 4 to 6 nights of winter, it freezes up and we can't use out of it. The way our tank sets here, if the sun comes up, the sun shines right in on that valve from the east, so that really thaws it out pretty quick. But up in our freestall barn, the valves are inside the freestall barn, the tanks are outside, but the pipe comes through and the valves are right inside. So we very rarely ever have it freeze up there that we can't use. We did once or twice have it that the one tank got frozen, but we were still able to keep using out of the other one. So yeah, it's pretty chilly this morning. It's just right about freezing, or maybe just a tad, a degree or two above, but it's really damp and raw, so it's really cloudy at this point. But yeah, I mentioned the other day about burning some brush piles here. Actually, it was just yesterday. Yeah, and we came out here today. I think my wife's got some drone footage too. It's pretty breezy, so I'm not quite sure how this is going to pick up with the wind, but yeah, there was a woods back here in this back corner. There wasn't a whole lot of rocks in here, so we cleared they clear cut the trees last spring and pulled them out here and stripped the limbs and the stuff off, and yeah, they logged it out. Yeah, they took all the logs, and all the stuff that was left we just shoved in on a couple big piles here along the edge. And so yeah, we're trying to get that all burnt up. And the two biggest piles are right here near the bottom. One up here, there's some the whole way up across here too. So yeah, anyhow, I'm hoping this ain't picking the wind up, but it's pretty intense. I'm probably at least 120 feet away from it, and the wind's blowing away from me, like, yeah, and there's just heat rolling off of that stuff. Once it burns down, we'll stay here and watch it the whole time to make sure it don't get out of control, and once it burns down, we'll start pushing it together a little bit more to try to get it to get all burnt up.